This is the second video, a breakdown of my progress in learning Unreal Engine. The idea was to visualize the aspects I've covered during my studies, without a plot, script, or storyboards. During the first 2 weeks in Unreal, I was importing characters created in ZBrush and 3ds Max and prepared in Blender. I got familiar with the level sequencer and created some simple character animations. The next step was to dive deeper into materials and create more complex effects. For the effects, I combined my frame-by-frame animations with procedural ones. I explored sub-emitters, where each particle generates other particles. The best example of this is creating fireworks. A particle is launched, leaves a trail of other particles, and then there's a flash. Then I built logic for procedural random color, shifting from an array, switching discretely, basically like a palette. I made the palette colors external properties, so they could be adjusted within the level and the level sequencer. While working on animations, I tried constraints, linking bones to objects. I actively used animation blending, as well as saving and applying poses to specific bone groups. The capabilities and convenience of the level sequencer are actually quite impressive. I didn't like the procedural shake/wiggle for keys, though. At first, there were plenty of bugs and hiccups, but then I got the hang of saving, using, reusing, and modifying animations. By the way, the tailbones on the head are still bugging out. I'll have to look into that later. I really appreciated the ability to create objects directly in the level sequencer as spawnable items to keep the scene clean and allow for multiple reuses. Currently, I only include 2 or 3 shots per level sequence due to instability. For example, slow-mo keys. They seem to work great, but when you use them repeatedly in one level sequence, glitches start appearing, and the keying system feels very unpolished. It seems that for now, working with cameras and viewports in Unreal is quite raw. In split viewport mode, I can't see the actual frame aspect ratio. Interestingly, the safe zones get distorted the same way. The only way to see what's actually in the frame is to use the camera preview function, which makes camera work inconvenient and defeats the purpose of having multiple viewports. Also, for now, I'm spawning effects directly in the level sequencer, which is honestly stupid. But so far, it's the most stable and fastest solution for me. I've also found it optimal to create a null object, I call it field of view, and all cameras in the scene track this point and focus on it. It's not the most elegant solution, but others are even worse. Regarding generating effects in the scene via level sequencer. Yes, first I created a blueprint class to generate effects programmatically. In theory, it's the most solid and logical approach. Right now, you can see how I'm trying to generate flying shells using this effect linked to the gun, but filling in the data for these keys is poorly implemented. There's a particular issue with changing the effect's position. I tried creating a null object in the scene and programmatically attaching all effects to that position, but it didn't work. I'll get back to this later and try to figure it out, but either way, this method doesn't reduce the amount of manual work. I spent some time fighting with Unreal to visualize blend shapes. I tried to do it the right way through blueprints, but for some reason, the mesh itself refused to visualize the morphing. In that sense, I was probably wrong to start learning with Unreal version 5, as there are many bugs. In the only working scenario, the program constantly freezes when you start moving keys around a lot, specifically when baking keys within the animation itself. Often you complete a full work cycle only to find it doesn't render, it just won't visualize. Well, facial expressions and blinking are my lowest priority right now, so I found a workaround. I created the morph targets in Unreal and then baked them into the animation using curves. I set up a couple of emotions and a blink for the character. That's enough for me. I didn't go easy on my laptop. Those scenes with fire, there are a lot of frame-by-frame effects there, running at 60 FPS, high resolution. Of course, these aren't in-game assets. This is cinematic visual. It's cool that you can even create your own algorithm within the particle system. Something I do often, linking randomized values. I build an algorithm for that, and now I just call it from the context menu and use it. Then I took a break from Unreal to see which software is most efficient for frame-by-frame effects these days. I've spent my whole life drawing and animate, but TV Paint has a great autofill tool. Unfortunately, that program is raster-based, which really doesn't suit me. I checked out the features of modern 2D animation software: Toon Boom, Krita, Tahoma 2D, TV Paint. Back in Animate, I used to draw with lines, then fill them, select all frames, and automatically delete lines from all frames. I tried to simulate that autofill style from TV Paint by creating macros, but it didn't work. The functionality just isn't there. In the end, I settled on Tahoma 2D for now because it's vector-based and has autofill. However, the lasso eraser doesn't work. I have to use black color instead of an eraser. It's very strange that such a simple and convenient tool isn't properly implemented anywhere. Along the way, I was editing my scripts for processing animation sequences. Sometimes the whole sequence needs cropping to remove empty areas. Other times the animation needs to be rotated because it's more convenient to use sprite sheets in Unreal where effect movement is oriented in one direction. Overall, vibe coding these days, using AI, is a huge help. You write tools on the fly that simplify the workflow. I've already written quite a few small scripts for my daily tasks. Now my scripts crop the sequence, rotate it, add glow, add pixel padding to account for that glow, and rename all these files and folders, specifying how many frames, columns, and rows are in the resulting sprite sheet. This is all necessary to quickly navigate in Unreal when importing these textures. Given that I have a lot of frame-by-frame effects and sprite sheets, I like to speed up the material creation process as well, because creating a master material instance and constantly dragging textures in is a chore. I really want to cut down on this manual routine. After the first month of getting to know Unreal, I've become quite comfortable with a level sequence. I can manage cameras, lights, all of that. But it's time to move to a different format, because the visuals, frankly, aren't that impressive. With such simplified skinning, rigging, and basic models, plus the fact that I try not to spend too much time on character or camera animation, it's hard to get really juicy shots. So, I'm going to change the format. I plan to visualize things in a side-scroller style. Since the camera is further away, I can reuse these more stylized, simplified animations, basically like game animations. This will naturally lead me to a more intensive study of blueprints, which was the next stage in my Unreal learning roadmap. And the final step, after Unreal, is to feed this footage into an AI to generate a higher quality render. But the motion, the effects, everything will still be mine.